Yes, sir. Welcome back to another week's episode of Ouens with Opinions. My name is Dane, and in this week's episode, we will be discussing what it means to be South African. As I said, my name is Dane, and this is Ash. Ash, how are you doing today, man?
Hey, what's up, Dane? Always good, my brother. It's good to be here. And yeah, man, as always, let's get the show on the road, man.
Okay, cool, man, cool. So, what we'll obviously be doing is going through a list of questions. This is a series that we are going to do where we will be interviewing people from different race groups, different walks of life in South Africa, so that we can get an understanding from them about what they understand a South African is, or what it means for them to be a South African. Ash, anything you would like to add?
Nah, I'm just keen for the topic, bro. Keen to see where it goes.
Yeah, of course. And, through these questions, of course, most people might not enjoy what our opinion might be on this. As you know, this is our opinion on what we think it means to be South African. And, you might not agree with it, but, it's our opinion. And that's why I said we will be interviewing people from all walks of life so you can see that they have their own bias or opinion about certain things that make people South African, okay? Anything you'd like to say before we start?
Like Dane said, most people won't probably like the things that we're going to be saying, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion at the end of the day. So this is just our opinion. Whether you like it or not, you have your own opinion, we have our own opinion, and we're just voicing ours at the end of the day. So yeah, man, but most of the information that we'll be talking about does have research behind it, and it won't just be
lived experiences as well.
Yeah, so it's not just things that we sucking out our fingers or anything like that. So yeah, cool.
Okay, so let's begin. So as we can see here today, what's the first topic we will be talking about is just the background of who we are, of course. So Ash, I would like to start with you. Can you please tell me what your name is, where you're from, and you can give a short information about your family as well.
Cool. So I'm all the way from Port Alfred.
Okay.
But I was born in Port Elizabeth. Born and bred. In the Windy City. Moved to Port Alfred when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and then basically just grew up on the farm over there. So I may not look it, but I'm actually a farm boy. From Port Alfred, and
Port Alfred's a nice place.
Yeah, it's very calm, very rustig. And I'm 29 years of age, just from last week.
Okay, Woo-hoo. Cool. Happy birthday for that.
Thanks, man, and happy Women's Day.
Yeah, of course. And so.
And your side?
Oh yeah. So like I said, my name is Dane. I'm from PE, of course. Port Elizabeth, not formerly known as PE, of course, but currently known as Ebeg. However you pronounce it. My family, they are from Port Elizabeth as well. My my grandparents are from Somerset and from Clarkson. So they all came from that farmlands to PE, of course. And how about yours? Where's your family from?
They from PE originally. So, yeah,
and their parents? Do you know?
My grandparents, my grandmother, my late grandmother, she was from Gravrinet.
Okay.
So she's also pretty much a farmy. My grandfather, he was from the city, so I think he's from Port Elizabeth.
Okay.
They grew up over there. So yeah.
Okay, and tell me, with your schooling, did you go to school in Port Elizabeth, or was it always in Port Alfred?
It was in Port Alfred. I went to primary school over there. So I started as a, a cub, I think.
A cub.
Yeah, they called us cubs, there's different categories.
A young child, basically.
Yeah. Oh, so you have the cubs, then you have you have a lion, and then all of these things, and then
Okay. I know that we used to be
I don't think I was a cub, actually. I think I was just a lion.
Yeah, they used to call us lighties and stuff.
Okay. We weren't lighties. We were lighties.
Oh, yeah, no. Lighties. Okay, yeah. I always used to hear that because my dad played hockey back in the day, and then I used to go with him down to the Galvin grounds to go and watch them play there. And then the people usually ask, hey, Elias Dayo, Lighty. And I'm like, thinking I'm hearing Lighty all over the place. You know what I mean? I'm
They
checking.
used to call the cool guy or the main character from movies the Lighty.
Oh, yeah, not for you. No. Look, I never associated Lighty with, like, you know, a positive connotation. Or like, why don't you just say as Iosian?
Oh yeah, I get you, man. But me, I personally, I don't have a problem with it, man. Honestly, I was like, yeah, as I liked it. Just sit there. I felt like, yeah, man, you know, Tom Cruise out here, boy.
Wouldn't know. So you're saying you went to Port Alfred? No?
Yeah, I was there up till grade 12.
Okay.
So
Starting what age?
From primary school.
Mm.
So from 5, 6, 5, I think, yeah, it was 5.
Okay.
Started in Port Alfred Primary. Primary school, or pre-primary rather, and then it was Port Alfred High School, straight up, grade 1 till 12.
And what subjects did you do?
Why
are you laughing?
I dropped one subject.
It happens.
I mean, guys, come on, not everybody's born an accountant, yo. So all I must say.
Oh, so it was accounting.
Yeah, no, I sucked at accounting, man. Like it was so horrible. It was devastating. I wrote one exam and I wrote one exam.
Yeah.
For my June exams, and I literally, guys, I'm not lying. I got 11%.
Hectic, bro.
It was bad. I didn't pay attention in class, man. I was just like interested in the girl next to me. So
yeah, classic Ash, no?
Yeah, man. I mean, but hey, man, you know, I switched over to business, and then lo and behold, like my grades were pretty good. And I had to catch up at the same time, you know. So I had to do grade 10 and 11 at the same time. But yeah, I still managed to pull through, and I did pretty good. So I was pretty happy with my report. But yeah, I wasn't the most intelligent guy, I'm not gonna lie. Or rather, I wasn't paying attention.
Say like you were like a slacker, basically.
Yeah, but on purpose though. It was like I had that rebellious nature.
Crazy, in hindsight, you feel like we could have done more in high school.
Yeah,
like, that's where I am as well.
Definitely.
And then post high school, what happened?
Went to Gadra. So I tried to.
Gadra, what's that?
It's an FET college in Grahamstown. Okay. It's based in Grahamstown, I think.
Gadra.
Yeah. And basically just improve my marks over there. And they were in close association with Rhodes University. And yeah, basically they were like my gateway into Rhodes. You know? So they got me into university, and then eventually I studied at Rhodes.
And what did you study there?
I got my degree in social sciences, and I triple majored in classical ancient history, sociology, and psychology.
So you have a good idea of, like, you know, what history was, basically.
Yeah, like especially ancient history. You know, that's where it's popping off, man.
For example,
Hellenistic kind of classical ancient history. So Greek mythology, Egyptology, just you know, everything that surrounds those kind of particular areas. You know, we did a whole lot of range of topics. We even covered topics such as magic. So it was pretty interesting. Magic
at university, like how to cast a spell.
No lie, we did those things, and we obviously went over like poetry as well, different types of books. We went over different kind of books, like the Odyssey, Hesiod, Aeschylus, and all these kind of things. But yeah, it was very interesting.
I'm shocked.
Hey, you are shook.
I can't still believe that, you know, they did spells in a lecture.
Yeah.
Hey man.
Hey man. Thanks, Dan. But our lecturer's name.
Oh wait. I was just about to say, no, what did Daniel do? No.
But what about you, bro?
So school in Port Elizabeth, of course. I went to a school called Parsons Hill, and then high school was Linkside.
Okay.
And then, you know, the subjects that I took were mostly business related. I do have like a bit of a bad history with regards to. I have a bad history with regards to how maths went down. I took mathematics in grade 10, and then I dropped it after June, basically.
Oh, hectic. I
Yeah,
you
bro.
wouldn't say
Like
that.
it went from like 9, oh, it went from 11% to 9%.
What?
Yeah, it just went down, bro. I couldn't do pure maths.
Okay.
But it's like that gap in the knowledge of maths that I couldn't like get over. Like, you know, like when you build a house, you have to have a foundation.
Okay.
I think my foundation was kind of like crooked and stuff like that. So you can just ignore that part.
Oh.
Man. So anyway, where was I? Oh yes. So I took maths for like 2 terms, and then I dropped maths for maths lit
Okay.
after that, and then shot off to the sky with all the marks.
Oh.
But you know how it is, like
Hey,
when you
bruh.
come from hard work and then you just progress over to like, you know, more easier work, and then you're like,
Maths lit,
what's
bruh.
this?
Come on, man.
I mean, I was trying to find out what X was, just to find out, you know, what is a shopping list. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, how much cost, you know, how much money do I have left over? So for me, maths lit was quite simple
Okay.
compared to pure maths.
Mm.
And to be honest, if there was more time invested, more money invested into maths, I probably would have, you know, passed it. But, you know, circumstances didn't allow me to do that. And, you know, like I said, my foundation. But, I mean, it's never too late to,
100%.
you know, to go redo maths.
100%.
So with regards to post-high school, I went to Nelson Mandela University. I studied BCom General Business Management, which included, you know, a general overview of all the BCom subjects. So it included business management all the way to HR. There wasn't really any psychology subjects, but
Okay.
HR fell under psychology,
Okay,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah. Probably like the organizational
Yeah, like,
side, yeah.
you know what? I actually didn't like that part.
Oh, for real?
I'm shocked how I even passed that part. But we had to do it because we had to do it. But I enjoyed the business and economics. Our lecturers were quite alright. Yeah, they were fine. The only downside I could say was that over the years, the level of intensity, you know, really decreased from what I understood. Lecturers didn't care that much as time progressed, but there were a few that still cared at least. So yeah, so my worldview was really shaped by what we learned at university. So it
Yeah,
really opened
yeah.
up my mind to ask the question, why is this like that?
Yeah,
Why is
yeah.
things done like this?
Mm.
And you know, that type of thing shaped how we saw things, and it
Yeah.
would be shaped differently to those that haven't really gone to university, you know. Not
Oh.
saying that we are better than those that didn't go to
Yeah,
university.
no. Of course.
So that's basically my university career, and then
Oh, well.
just been working since then. Yeah, so is anything else you'd like to add with regards to school?
No, like it's true what you're saying, you know. University did take a very I don't know, it really did shape everything, you know, like how your thought processes and just your world outlook, you know, and just how you see and perceive things, you know, it really like added. I mean, especially with learning magic.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is some real stuff, guys. This is,
I can't believe that took place, bro.
yeah, I don't think I should mention,
Mention what?
yeah, what we studied.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us.
Yeah, no, but, yeah, I mean, making love potions.
Hectic. Like that way that that signage that's on the lamppost that says find your lost lover type of thing.
I mean, there were things like that, you know, it's called Greek Magica Papyri.
Hectic.
Yeah, so it's an actual thing, and then they give you like how, you know, a whole lot of information. But I don't
Yeah.
want to actually discuss that because I'm actually anti-magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a follower of Jesus Christ, man,
Amen.
and we come
Amen.
against those things.
Amen.
But yeah,
So I think I'll just reshift the question. So then I'll move on to the next part.
yeah.
So what are your beliefs, or what do you believe in at this moment?
I am a disciple of Jesus Christ,
Amen.
and I love saying that.
Amen. Amen. So
But, yeah.
if I could ask you now, if you are a disciple of Jesus in university, how would that have changed your approach to university?
I probably wouldn't have been an activist in the things that I was active for, or yeah.
Like, for example, what were you know?
Okay, well, there were a whole lot of things happening at the time, but I just don't think I would have been actively, part of them. I probably would have had used my time in different ways, and just instead of
Use it more wisely.
yeah, 100%,
Okay.
use it for the ministry, and
Of course.
instead of just taking it like, here's another protest, I'm gonna go and make a noise type of thing. But there was a whole lot of things happening. Things like there was Black Lives Matter. There was Roads So White protests happening. There
With
were
the statues and stuff, no?
yeah, there was a whole lot of things happening over there. Colonialism, all of these different things, and well, I made my view very prominently, man. Like, we made a video that was supporting anti.
You made a video.
Yeah, it went viral, man.
What was it about?
It was basically going against the narrative, man. Like, saying, like, they basically labeled white people as like racists,
As
or
the enemy,
like,
basically.
you see. So and I didn't really feel that was cool, like, I don't think that every white person that you see is a racist, man. And we shouldn't be like attributing certain things to a white person, even though, like, let's not forget about the history, let's not forget about what happened, but at the same time, it can't shape how you're viewing the new generation, like, sure, you can look at F.W. de Klerk and all those dudes in a certain light, but you can't project those feelings onto a newer generation that has never experienced apartheid, that has never influenced how things happen. You can't be doing that. And it's likewise, for both sides, because we are influenced mainly by like what our parents have to say. And obviously they have their own experiences, and so I don't want to get off the topic. My beliefs currently, I'm a Christian. Well, I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. So, oopsie.
Sorry about that.
So I believe that He is the truth, He is the way, and He is the life, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And there are certain things that we have to follow. And the reason why I'm on this path is because I've been searching for truth for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've come to know it, like I experienced a whole lot of different religions, and I put myself out there, doing a whole lot of.
For example, what type of religions are you talking about?
Well, I grew up as a Muslim.
Okay.
So for 19 years of my life I was a Muslim, and eventually I left Islam. My dad is a Muslim, by the way, and my mom's a Catholic. So I decided, no, I wanna walk my own way, you know. And so I just decided, okay, no, you know what, I'm gonna see what this whole Jesus thing is about. Just see, what church is like and all of that.
So at what age did you start following the Catholic? Is it Catholic?
Yeah, Catholicism.
Okay.
I started following it when I was about 19, 20. 19, and eventually I got confirmed into the church and everything, but at the same time I was practicing a whole lot of other stuff, like meditation, opening my chakras,
all this Middle Eastern
new age kind of things,
I've heard of those things, but you don't have to go too deep into that.
So it was just like a whole lot of stuff, but eventually I left the Catholic Church. And I came to the realization that what's being pushed in churches and stuff like that is not actually scriptural. So therefore now I am a disciple rather than a Christian, a self-proclaimed Christian. I would rather like to be called a disciple of Jesus Christ. Amen. And your side?
So with regards to what I believe in, what my beliefs are in Jesus Christ as well, in what He has told His first 11 disciples, which is to go and make disciples of all the nations, and that's what we do. part of our conversations that we have with people in our everyday lives is that they need to follow Jesus if they want eternal life. And by doing that is by following the words of Jesus and going through the New Testament. But we will do another video on that, of course, about explaining what the responsibility of the nation of the world, the human race has to do in order to get back and on the right path of God. So if I knew then what I knew now, having a firm belief in Jesus, I would have approached university much differently. I would have been more diligent in my work. I would have been more opinionated on what they were presenting to us, because what they're doing at university at the moment is that they are just they using it like a high school situation where you sit and you just absorb information. But if you look at how first world nations do it, they actually challenge the lecturer. They actually go and do their own research on the matter. So because most people don't have a solid foundation of what they believe in, they usually just sit and take in what the university lecturer is telling them or what's been said to them in the textbooks. But since we know the truth, since we have lived through different experiences of evangelizing and speaking to people on the streets, we are actually seeing the other side of the coin. We are seeing how people are living compared to what people expected to live post 94. Okay, people expected a whole lot different in their lives post 94, but the reality is they are living like it was pre 94 still today. So in my opinion, from what I've seen in my life, is that if I knew then if I knew now
what you knew then, I mean, what
basically what I'm trying to say is that
if you knew,
if I went to university and I had my beliefs in Jesus Christ as I do now, my university experience would have been a lot better, of course. I would have challenged lecturers, I would have challenged the question paper, would have been more opinionated, because I would have compared what I believe is true, which is the gospel of Jesus Christ, compared it to what the textbooks are saying, and have an opinion on it. Okay, so that's where we are coming from, so that you know that as we go further on, you would know that we are speaking from a biblical perspective, of course. Okay, is anything you'd like to add before we continue?
No, it's all good. But how did you come to, were you born a disciple, or did you make that decision yourself, or what how did you come to Christ, basically?
Well, how I came to Christ is that I was going through a lot during 2020, and then I was praying to God, trying to get back to Him, because we all make mistakes in our lives. I won't get into what it was. But then God answered my prayers, and He brought on my path my friend who I haven't spoken to in a long time, and then he evangelized to me. He told me that I have responsibility towards God. And then we argued about it, because I told him, no, I'm believing in God the right way. No. How can you tell me this? And then I challenged him, and I said, I will find out myself if this is true. And then here I am today.
Lo and behold.
Here I am today.
Amen.
And Ash, I don't know if you want to share as well how you came to Christ.
Well, I've been, like I said, I was on the search for truth, like for a whole lot of a pretty long time, and like 4 or 5 years, man. And I was going to church and all that stuff, and doing all these things, praying to the sun, praying to the moon, believing that there is a God, and all these things, trying to open my chakras and all these things. But then there were things happening also in my life. It was pretty hectic. I prayed, for a sign, something to happen, and got a job in PE. And then basically on the second day I met a friend, and I didn't know him before, but like he started the same time as me, and he basically evangelized to me as well, and I got to know what the true gospel is, something that I hadn't heard in the church before. And basically a sign was given to me, and it was done. People that don't believe in miracles do exist. So yeah, and not just like the whole, you know, if you could change me, you could change. No, like physical miracles. They actually exist. Yeah.
But like we said, we will dive into that
Yeah,
in another.
100%. So yeah, that's how I came to Christ, and yeah, amen. No regrets.
Okay, cool. So that's just a bit of a background of us. I just want to add a few more things. So Ash, what do you enjoy doing, man? Like
Man,
in your free time and so forth.
well, I mean, besides preaching, I would. I mean, I like gaming. I like music a lot. I really like music. I used to make my own music, but I kind of stopped. I don't know why, but yeah. So yeah, sports. I like being active. You know, doing things, activities, and stuff like that. So yeah, most of these days I don't really have that much off time. But if I did, I'd probably do a lot more. Yeah. And your side?
Yeah, well, on my side, you know, I enjoy keeping active as well. You know, just keeping fit. You know, just exercising, of course, and you know, reading as well, because you know, reading the Bible and reading, you know, good pieces of literature such as George Orwell and all these other, you know, authors of different books that we know warn us of times that we are going towards.
Yes.
And so forth. And also, we often spend our weekends preaching the gospel, of course. So we can say we don't have time mostly for ourselves because we are serving the Lord. Amen. And yeah, it's basically our hobbies. And yeah, so as we go into the next part, Ash, what are your thoughts about this topic? Are you nervous? Are you
Nah, not
excited?
at all,
Or
man.
what do you think?
I'm pretty keen. You know, it's a really broad topic, but yeah, I think we've narrowed down the questions like in such a way that we don't have to go off topic, you know, and it can be structured. You
Yeah,
know,
no, of course.
You know, so I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty chilled, man. I'm pretty excited, I guess. Yeah.
No, I think it's also good couple of questions because it will really like help people understand, you know, what we are, how it is living in South Africa as well, because you can see Ash and I, although we are colored, we look completely different from each other. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's got a nice beard, and I wish I had that beard, man. Yo, guys, look at.
Hey, I mean, look at this guy's smile. Come on, man. Come on, man. He's got a nice smile. But anywho, so yeah, the thing is, people hear about South Africa, but they don't know what we are really about. They only know us about the World Cup rugby, the Springboks. What other stereotypes are you aware of?
Proteas, you know.
Oh, the cricket as well.
Yeah, cricket. I mean,
Okay.
But mainly rugby.
Yeah.
Rugby.
And also, what about our government and them stealing as well? That's also what we're known for abroad.
Yeah, near corruption.
Yeah, no? Corruption.
Yeah, corruption. And
South Africa being not an investable country.
Third world country, and many like lions just cruising everywhere, and you know, it's like Madagascar.
There are no lions roaming the streets in South Africa.
Well, you'd be surprised. I heard there was a lion loose in Malabar.
There might be lions roaming. Well, I mean, they're not like chilling in the yard or anything, so
man.
They don't have them as pets.
Yeah, there are quite a few stereotypes about South Africa, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I think people just think that we live in some impoverished nation, man, like a rural place where there's no cars and.
Technically, we like Africa light if you think about it.
I mean, all the different influences that, you know, kind of like, affect South Africa, man. Like whatever is trending in the world, we're gonna make it trend even more. I think that's what South Africa is, just full of hype, man.
Look, South Africa's another place. As we will be, you know, recording videos of street interviews with people, you will see that there are people from Congo, people from Mozambique, people from Malawi, Zimbabwe, a lot of Zimbabweans here as well.
Yeah.
So you will see for yourself that we are quite diverse with a lot of different cultural groups, of course. So speaking about diversity, of course, growing up in a diverse community of people, okay? Because where I lived in, I'll just start with myself, okay? So I live in a place called, I can say it. I stayed in Kensington, okay, so you can't get more diverse than that. People that are from Kensington will understand what I mean. Um, Especially when I was going a school going age, primary school, of course. I don't stay there anymore. But the point is, um, growing up, there were like white people staying there. Okay, there were colored people staying there. There was a few groups of black people, but there was like a nice 50-50 group of whites and coloreds. And we played in the streets together. We grew up together, of course, and that's where I learned most of my Afrikaans, of course. But the only issue here was uh, I haven't had a chance to exercise my Afrikaans, to be honest. Remember, I told you that story about the guy that told me just speak English rather. And you know what? If I practiced my Afrikaans or they gave me that chance, then I probably would have been fluent in Afrikaans today. Maar vandag kan ek net 'n bietjie Afrikaans praat en ek kan net in die taal praat, how do you say stem, this voice, in die stem praat van my onderwyseres was 'n vrou van Nigel af. Nigel is in Johannesburg en sy het ons so Afrikaans geleer om so te praat. So ja, ek maak nie dit op nie. Ek maak nie dit op nie. So ja. But anyway, that's how we learned our Afrikaans, textbook Afrikaans. So it's just enough to get by. I didn't learn Xhosa growing up, but you know, growing up in a school where we were white, colored, black, Indian, whatever, we obviously mingled with our language. Like even if you listen to how I speak English, you can hear there's like an undertone of Afrikaans in there on how I pronounce words or my word order or my word choice. It might not be fluent as an English person from England, but I still get my point across because we understand each other.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a diverse community, of course. So in my mind, or how I was taught, so from each household, it depends on how you were taught. And in our household, we were taught to, you know, be friendly to our neighbors, to be open to being hospitable to anyone who we come across, not to discriminate against different types of people. Hectic, it's hailing outside, guys. Wow. Anyway, oh, my poor car.
My poor car too.
So the point is, it was quite diverse, my growing up. So for me, it wasn't a shock when I came in contact with a black person or an Indian person or a white person, because I've always been in that type of environment with different types of people. So growing up, of course, the languages that I learned outside of English, for example, it was English and Afrikaans, and then Xhosa as well, but only the swear words growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, man.
Unfortunately, it's like locked up in my brain at the moment, so I can't get rid of it, to be honest, but it's going to go away sometime. But anyway, I don't understand, like that was the first thing. If you can ask any colored person, can they speak Xhosa? They would say no, but they would know the swear words. It's like they taught us. It's like they just taught us those words, no?
Yeah, no, to defend yourself, you know, in a situation where you need to act tough.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yes, yeah, I don't even want to
I know what
repeat.
you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. So, how about you, Ash? Tell me about your
Well, my upbringing,
childhood.
I was mainly inside the house. I mean, growing up, I grew up in a place called Station Hill. And
Station Hill.
Yeah,
okay.
that's like a colored area in Port Alfred. So yeah, it was pretty remote area, rural, very rural. It had like gravel roads and stuff like that. But then I went to a white school, Model C white school, and you know, to them it was still very strange. Like the kids over there were.
I can't believe we're still saying white school.
Hey man, back then it was mainly white people over there, man. So all I'm gonna say, seeing a colored was very strange for them. They didn't know what I was. They literally called me an alien. You look like an alien. Yeah, but anyway, it was hectic, man.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I adapted like a few. Not funny, bro. Not funny.
No, I'm not saying
I'm
laughing
scarred,
at,
bro.
No, I'm not laughing at you that they say you look like an alien.
No.
It's more like Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. Where have you been, man?
I mean, they probably
Post 94, bro.
exactly. They've been
Get
locked
your
up in the
facts
house or
right.
something. But that's crazy. That was
You
your
6-year-old.
experience.
You 6-year-old.
Hectic.
What do you know?
Exactly, bro. Was that when you were 6, bro?
Yeah, like just it was really relatively like fresh, out of apartheid, if you think about it. I mean, 1999. It's only like 6 years.
Oh, hectic. Yeah. Okay, now it makes sense now.
You see, so
Yeah.
yeah, but okay. No, I was just joking about it being. I'm being scarred. I'm not scarred because of that. Like literally, I'm really sharp.
Yeah.
But
So I was like the classroom setup and
the classroom setup, I was always the only colored in my class.
Okay. In primary school, of course.
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of.
Okay.
Like
Look.
it carried on until high school.
Like
So, yeah.
on the contrary, like Parsons Hill had like a diverse group of people, and it was like quite equitable, to be honest. Like there was a good representation of all groups,
Now yeah.
and classes were small, and the teachers were quite good in what they were doing. Not that I have a problem with it. I just realized now that we were just taught by white teachers that back then.
Hectic, okay.
So
Yeah, likewise actually.
Okay.
But my grade R teacher was Asian.
like I
Her
almost
name
did
is-
this now.
Her name is Miss Lisan, and I straight up told her like, "Yo, one day I'm gonna be marrying you." She was beautiful, man.
Oh my gosh,
Michelle.
that's embarrassing, bro. What did she
No,
say?
bro, like I mean, I still see her around,
Okay,
and she's a
Okay.
good-looking lady. She's a woman, and
of course.
she's a
I-
grown, mature woman.
I
and
called
she's
my
still
grade-
beautiful.
Hectic.
Yeah, you call your grandma.
Well, my grade 2 teacher, I called her mommy by mistake. Yeah. Oh, we all done that.
Woo!
You also did that.
No.
No? Nah. I know I came across someone that said that he did it as
Well,
well.
instead of ma'am, you'd say mom. That happened to me.
I said the full word mommy,
Oh.
and then she laughed. It wasn't on purpose, guys.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
Nah,
gosh.
but okay, so my influence was mainly like white. A lot of people would actually say that I sound weird. My accent sounds weird. Like, oh, where you from, bro? Where you from? Are you from
Yeah.
Mozambique?
Hey.
Or what is that place called?
Which one?
I don't know. Like some weird island place.
Zanzibar?
The Mediterranean or something. But anyway, so yeah, like I had like a whole lot of white people influence in my life.
That was like your friend groups.
Yeah, mainly, but obviously I did have African friends as well, and especially towards like the end of school.
Yeah.
That's when I had like a lot of African friends, and until this day, university, I was exposed to so many people, like so many diverse groups, and yeah, like it was just crazy, man. But the main languages that I spoke, well, my household was Afrikaans. My mom and dad are Afrikaans, but they rose me as English.
They raised you.
Yeah, they raised me as English. So yeah, it is crazy, man. But I can speak a bit of Afrikaans.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. Ek gaan nie worry. Ek gaan nie. You see,
Oh,
like my
this is
accent
bad,
now,
bro.
my accent changed as soon as I moved here to PE. Now I become like more colored.
Hey.
So,
What does more colored mean?
he is face, brother.
Hectic.
Nah. If I had to speak Afrikaans to someone, I would probably Goeiedag mevrou, hoe gaan dit?
Yeah, nah, formal, no?
Ja,
Just
nee,
the way we've been
ja,
taught.
nee,
of course.
moet. So, lekker dag vandag. Dit reën baie lekker.
No.
Ja, ek is baie verbaas van die haal, hè.
Die haal.
Die haal.
Okay.
Ja.
Okay.
Dail. Oh, wait, bro.
So we're over there, of course.
Yeah.
So with regards to my experience growing up in South Africa, I had a diverse group of friends.
Awesome, man.
Why? Because of how I've been raised, of course. As I mentioned before, my parents said, we don't discriminate against certain groups. I always hear from my sister, who is a teacher, how certain children act towards certain kids. And a child is only a result of their parents, of course.
100%.
You see. So I was personally taught, I believe you were taught, because we're basically similar to each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was basically taught, not to discriminate, not to
Yeah.
think down on anyone else.
100%.
Always try to, help the next person. And
Yes.
that's, something that has always been inside with me growing up as a child,
100%.
which
yeah.
helped me to bridge that gap between, different race groups, different friend groups. And, growing up, it was crazy because, I never really stuck to, I wouldn't assimilate to my own race, if you want to call it that. I would move around according to people that match the same personality as as myself. So what it found out to be is that, I assimilated quite well with white people for some reason. I'm not saying that colored people are mean and not nice. It's just that, it depends on which type of colored people you came into contact with at
Yeah.
that school, you see.
Yeah.
So depending on the type of colored people that went to that type of school, they either came from the northern areas. They had a different way of friendships, you see. Then you have colored people that come from a more affluent areas that had a different way of friendships, you see. And then colored people who come from, living in semi-rural or semi-poor areas, that had a different way. So it depends on your upbringing. So I'm not saying that all colored people are mean and so forth. I'm just saying that I assimilated at that point in time with white people easier. Okay. How about you? What do
Likewise, man. Likewise, I never really, I don't know, because there were a very finite amount of colored people at my school, I couldn't really bond with them as much, and whenever I tried, I did feel like sort of like a cheese, I felt like not part of the group,
There was just something different. Right?
There was something different. My Afrikaans wasn't on point. I was just, I don't know, I was just different. So yeah, likewise, I assimilated to either a white friend group or a black friend group. It was just either or,
Same.
It wasn't going to be coloreds. Sorry to my colored friends out there. You know who you are. I love you. But there was just something up there, man.
Yeah.
There was just something up. It was just harder for me to form a bond. Probably because of like differences in values as well. Because they maybe grew up in different circumstances that might have also like had an impact and influence. Whereas my parents were very I don't know, they raised me in such a way that it was more like a Lani type of thing, like this class and that class, and it's like you can't be chilling with these type of people, that kind of vibe. But it's not to say that they were wrong in that. I mean, they probably saved me from a whole lot of things, like drug use and the wrong crowds and stuff like that. I'm not saying that colored people are bad, just like you saying. I'm not saying that, but there is a stereotype out there.
I mean, there's also whites and black people that also do the same thing that we would be advised not to interact with at that age.
Exactly.
Like, even, I'm not saying that I was friends with all the white people. Of course, there were people that, that were white and were on their own mission. And then there were coloreds that were colored but on their own mission.
Yeah.
And then there were black people, also speakers, who were black and Xhosa on their own mission.
Yeah.
Okay, I say Xhosa because in Eastern Cape we just have Xhosa speakers most of the time. And that's how they like to be known, as the AmaXhosamas now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's just our perspective, of course. And, we make friend groups in different groups, of course. So, I want to know from your side, Ash, we're going to come into a more controversial part. Okay? So, what are your biases about the other races? Like, offhand, I mean, disclaimer, we're not trying to say that this is true. This is just what we understand. Yes. We're not saying that this is 100% true. This is just our perspective. It doesn't mean that we treat black, white, colored, Indian differently. This is just how we perceive it.
Yeah.
Okay? So, let's start with black people. What are your biases about black people?
For me, loud and proud.
Loud and proud.
Loud and proud. Like there's no secrets there, bro. You're gonna hear everything. It just seems like black people are very open, and they're not afraid to voice what they say, and that has just been my experience, you could be in the middle of a conversation between two people and they could be talking straight about you, man, and
Yeah.
you could be the topic and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, because you don't know the language.
You don't know the language,
Yeah.
so they feel free, and
Skinner about you in front of you. It's crazy.
uyageza wena,
Yeah, ne?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
these things. Yeah.
making a noise.
Siyathetha isiXhosa.
Yeah, kancinci bra,
Yeah.
just a little.
Just a little bit.
But
You must watch.
yeah, so yeah, it was for me it was always like weird that there was some kind of vendetta though between Xhosas and Zulus, because I grew up also like noticing that Xhosas they have this thing with Zulu people, so I was like always confused, like what's up with
Like
that?
a beef almost.
Yeah, like a beef, like, oh, he's a Zulu. No. The kind of vibe, and I was like, whoa, okay.
That's weird.
It is weird,
Colored people have the same thing. English versus the Afrikaans
Afrikaans,
speakers.
like, oh yeah, you a cheese boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard that a few times, man. Come on.
That's another time, bro. We can't speak about it today. But so your bias about black people is that they are loud.
Loud and proud.
Loud and proud.
Very proud people. Very proud people. They strong and opinionated in what they believe. And this is just my experience. Like I said, I'm not saying that all black people are like this or all Xhosa people are like this, but it's just been my experience. Like what they believe, they will thoroughly be into it. They will thoroughly believe it, and they'll thoroughly pull through and go through with whatever they belief is. And I mean, it can be advantages. It can be an advantage and a disadvantage, in times. Being loud all the time is not really gonna work for you.
It can like clash with different cultures who don't share the same how do I say, same
traits, values.
Like for example, being loud is not how do I say, acceptable in the English culture, if you can call it that. For example, acting like a gentleman and being cordial in a working environment is seen as being respectful, but yet what I've noticed is that Xhosa people, for example, they are in, even if it's in a business environment and so forth.
Yeah, gone.
So basically
And your side, man?
yeah, no, I'm gonna get to that. I just want to finish the point on being English and gentleman and quiet and things like that. So that's where the clash of culture comes from. And because we speak in English in this country, and because English as came as a language that isn't native to this land, we took on the culture that comes with
that's true.
English, you see. So that's why it sometimes comes as a culture clash, because English and how the Xhosas act is two different cultures coming together, which can make the environment a bit toxic because it's not how each group has been learnt and taught. Okay?
Traditionally, at least.
Traditionally. So I agree with your 2 points. I don't think we need to dive in further about that. Colored people. What are your biases about colored people? I think.
Okay.
Let me start with this one.
Okay.
So my bias.
We can go ham now. We're gonna nail y'all, man.
Amen. Look, I'm gonna be a bit reserved. I know about Ash, but with regards to colored people, my bias about colored people, I would say that colored people are, in their own way, trying to find out where they belong.
Yeah.
That's what I understand. So my bias is that we try to find a way to come together and have the same lived experiences, of course. Like if it's a car culture, if it's got to do with a dance culture, if it's got to do with, a Cape Town culture of whatever it could be. I'm not really familiar with it. But if all the colored people in Cape Town actually went back and actually taken the culture of the Cape Minstrels, of course, and dive into what it meant during the slave times and stuff. You know more about that type of thing. But to be honest, we are trying to find the culture, And in that, there are subcultures being created because we don't have the same foundational values, if you can say so. And yeah, I will get back to myself with regards to that. My bias on colored people as well is that, some people see the colored culture as being cool. Some people do. And sometimes some people see it as being a bit less than,
Yeah.
in most cases. I'm just
Yeah.
going to be honest. Some people, they used to make fun of the colored accent. I don't see it out there anymore because of, cancel culture and so forth. But in the past, we used to I used to experience it a lot as well, where I'm either with a group of black people or a group of white people. And then, when I say a certain word in my colored accent, it would be mimicked in a mocking way as well. You see?
100%.
You see? So, yeah, Ash, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with your point over there, man. People, I think my bias with colored people are basically that they they are struggling to fit in, into a society because they can be labeled as too white to be black and too black to be white, and you're stuck in this situation where, where do I go? Where do I belong? And then you look at the other colored people and you don't really share anything really in common with these people. So where do you really fit in, And the car culture thing, it's not going to be for everyone. Not everybody's going to be into that. Some people are into anime. Some people are into reading books. Some people are into sport, And not everybody shares the same like. I mean, I haven't seen colored people that really enjoy hockey. And they just come together and they're just like, yo, have you seen that hockey match, man? Yo, brah.
Well, there is a subculture of that maybe as well.
I mean, So, but I also view them as trendsetters, Colored people, they really know how to make things our way.
Yeah, look, that's also debatable as well. People are saying that away is not really a colored word.
No, but I mean, come on, man. Like, who made it up? Who made it, bro? Like, who made it a thing? Like even, Africa. I've heard Afrikaners, bro. Like white Afrikaners. They come here. It's like, oh, where, bro? Oh, where, bro? And it's just like, oh, where, bro? You see this? Oh, where? Shut, my guy. Shut.
I remember back in the day as well when there were like colored people around Occupy. This was back in the day. If you are talking about anything, and you just it's like when you say the word aware, it's like setting a felt on fire basically.
Aware.
Then that word just goes, and it's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Then everyone starts
Just
saying aware in agreement to that point basically. But yeah, you were saying, Ash?
Yeah, man. But I also have the stereotype that colored people can be a bit lazy, and they more of like
bias,
that bias, like they can be lazy, they can be less than, they can be seen as less than, and they can be also more bark than they are bite, like they rather complain about things rather than actually doing something about it. And I think that's like my main bias with colored people, like, come on, man, like if people are in agreement with of one topic, then why not go ahead and fight for something, I mean, there's so much potential in the colored community, but they choose to just waste it all on like drugs and smoking a occa pipe, instead of like actually doing something productive, that can actually contribute to society. And we all know that not colored people, they may have this whole stereotype of them being less than or less intelligent, but I hate to pop the bubble, man, but there's some intelligent colored people out there, but they just don't want to use their nondos. They don't want to use their brain.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Now, where we are coming from is to build up and to help people understand that, you can be more than what your city is, and that we should continue to change how we view things and what we do with our lives, of course. So we're not trying to bash one group and say forth. It's just that we come from a point of, wanting better for our own people as well. And when we say our own people, we're saying the people that we are being grouped with. We want to see them improve as well. Just like black people want to see their own people improve. Look, the debate of black and white is also something that needs to be discussed.
No, we'll get on that.
But the thing is, just like white people would want the best for them, just like Indian people, the same thing. we are just passionate about wanting to see better for our people, and that's why we are. That's why you went. You criticized it quite well.
Oh, well.
Hopefully, it
Thanks,
will
man.
be, constructive,
Received
of
well,
course.
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
What's your view on white folk, man?
Oh
What's
yes,
your
yes,
bias on
yes,
white
yes.
folk?
So here's my bias. It's a bias that we are obviously trying to work out as we are going through life. We're actually realizing things that we overlooked growing up.
True.
Our bias of white people growing up. This is now me just saying what I used to think, because I mean, we realized so many things over the past 2 years. To be honest,
So many.
white people. In the past, we thought that white people were like, oh, these amazing people. Like, to all the white people listening out there,
We
this
love
is
you.
crazy though. I think this is like I said to you, I know I said this to you before, but this is like the overflow of what was not spoken about post 94.
Yeah.
Where if it was resolved with active discussions, then we wouldn't be still perpetuating what pre-apartheid has done. Not pre-apartheid, but
Yeah.
pre 94 basically. But we are actually continuing that same culture of segregating ourselves in different groups with different tones, speech, or classes, of course. Okay, so that hasn't changed from my perspective. So what I see white people as back then was that they were either smart, they worked for what they believed in, they were always a step ahead with what they were doing. They just did things better than us. That was my understanding of it growing up.
Yeah.
Currently, it's changed a lot. Not that I'm hating on white people. I mean, we can work together. I mean, we're part of a missionary group where there are white people in it. And we assimilate quite well because we're all there for the same purpose, which is to serve Jesus, of course.
Amen.
But what I've noticed now over the past 2 years, I should say, is that white people are just normal people. So people need to break that mental shackle that that the European look is something that is superior than an African look.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to look inside the person's character, of course, and then make a decision of what you actually believe about that person. Okay, so my bias about white people has obviously changed. So in the past, they were just these people that were better than us. We wouldn't have said it, but our actions would say it.
Yeah.
But I think it was I think it was a result of being bombarded with a lot of Western media, where in most movies growing up, it was white girls with blonde hair that was just having the time of their lives in a good light. And then the movies that we watched where there were black kids in it, they were always going through struggle, and
They would be in the Bronx,
basically,
in the projects,
yeah,
or like kring swaar.
basically. And that was our representation in our brain. So even media had an influence on how our biases were shaped, you see. Okay, and most of our biases about colored people and black people that we have spoken about, that we have currently now, is through lived experience. So the bias that we have about white people now is that they are like everyday people. They are also people that do wrong, that do right as well. There are those that don't like certain races, and there are ones that are liking certain races. So there are different types of people that are white. So currently that's my stance. Ash, you want to share your bias about white people?
Yeah, no, I like similar bias, eh? For me, since I grew up like in a white school, you could say a white school. At the time it was mainly white people over there.
Yeah, Port Alfred was.
Yeah, teachers were white and all of that stuff. So I viewed them. I did have this view of them being superior, more intellectual, more intelligent, more driven, more innovative. Things they had skills which I had. I wish I had. Their dads are always taking them on a boat ride on the weekend. So it was like, wow, why can't I have those things? So it kind of like put them in this whole, they have everything kind of light, that was always my bias, like white people are just on this privilege level, like they just privileged, they got everything happening for them, they have access to everything. But eventually, as I matured, I came to realize that that was just a construct, that was actually just in my own mind. And breaking down those barriers, after kicking a whole lot of white people in the face, I realized they're just normal people,
Yeah, of
and this was
course.
in karate. So it was while I was doing karate, not like actual.
Not in the streets and stuff.
Well, I mean, there was certainly. You know what I mean, though. So yeah, I just came to realize that they normal people. They have feelings. You have rich white people. You have poor white people. Like not every white person that you see is, privileged. And that was kind of like my whole thing when the whole Road So White protests were happening. I was actually anti Road So White because I could see where it was going. I could see some white people were really being victimized, and that was like so inaccurate. It shouldn't be like that. If you're fighting for equality, then it should be like on every single race scale. It should be for everyone. If you're fighting only for your own race, then it means there's something wrong in your ideology, because you're now not catering for equality. Now you just want, you're being selfish now. That's like selfish wants, selfish needs, and it's coming from a place of anger and hate and greed. And so my bias on white people now is they're normal people, but you do get those snobs, man. Like, you do get those snobby white people out there that just think they popo rainbow, or ice cream.
Fairy dust.
Yeah, fairy dust. When they fart, it's rainbows, man. Sunshine
It's
and
stinky.
rainbows and lilies. It smells like lilies, bro.
I've seen colored people and blacks that do the same as well.
Exactly. You see, so like it can't just apply to like one race these days. But I mean, just from my experience, I've experienced that a lot, especially with the dating scenario. I mainly only dated like white girls, and just my experience, a lot of them were, I'm not saying all, but a lot were kind of snobby. They looked down on certain people. And even like my first real girlfriend, like I wasn't allowed to be known. Like, her father wasn't supposed to know about me. She gets a new boyfriend after me. The dude is going and visiting the house. He knows the pet dog's name. I didn't even know that she had a pet dog, man, so
That's crazy, bro. But so yeah, that's also things that you have to deal with when you are, dating in different race groups, as we are divided, you know what I mean?
100%.
So it's something that comes with a package, of course.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to date a black girl, then you have to open up yourself to a possibility of ancestral worship, something that people don't want to do, that are not in that cultural group, you see.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting insight, Ash.
Yeah,
and Indian people. What biases do you have about Indian people?
Money.
Money. Okay. So why money?
Indians like money, man. That's just a bias. Like, you see people like the material aspect of life. That's just my personal view. Like Indian girls, Indian guys, they're really all about the Bugattis and the the Gallardo and the Ferraris. I mean, I have a friend. He's an Indian, and you'd probably agree, man. You'd probably agree at what I'm saying now. I mean, he's like, Ash, if you run into trouble, you just tell him that you're friends with a Maharaj, okay? You get into anywhere. No, this is a friend from Kokstad. So
Hectic.
Yeah. Shout out, man.
Shout out to Kokstad.
No, shout out to Sai.
So my understanding about Indian people, I have no bias about them besides curry, to be honest. I mean, like, I haven't interacted with many Indian people. I've had a few. There were always like a few of them in our schools.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not naturally from Port Elizabeth or Eastern Cape area, so they are more from KZN side.
I just want to add, like, I was actually called an Indian at school as well. So because of my peaches, crazy,
yes,
bro.
man. Did you have the comb over now?
No, I just had a gel look.
Okay. Yeah. Well, There was a time when people also told me that I looked Indian when I had a comb over in high school. Nah, I'm not. I'm not joking.
Okay.
Like for real.
I mean, I could see it though.
Yeah, we.
Oh,
Just shows how diverse, we are as, colored people, as we can call it that. So yeah, like I said, Indian people, I know them. Like, my bias is the gel.
Oh.
The gel
yeah.
there.
The GTI.
Hey, the GTI, don't forget that one. What's the other one as well? Curry, yes. Oh, yes, the parents always made some lacquer rotis as well. There was this guy that was at my school in primary school. He always brought like spinach that was really spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, my guy. It tasted good, but then I was like, yo, it's spicy because my mom doesn't make such spicy food. You know what I mean? And I chowed it and I was like, oh, wait, that tastes good. You know what I mean? And
Spicing up your life, man.
yeah, and they always were the ones with money as well, to be honest. Yeah, I wonder what's up with that. But anyways,
Another
good
topic.
for them. Good for them.
Another topic.
Away. So our last one about our biases about other races is about foreigners. So the foreigners would be Chinese people and Africans from the other parts of Africa, since we are Africa light. So tell me, Chinese people, do you see them in South Africa? What are your biases?
One of my close friends is Chinese, but he claims he's South African though. So he actually gets quite offended when we call him Chinese.
Hectic.
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm South African. So then we're like, okay, cool. He was born in South Africa. He moved to China. He is Asian, Yeah, if you didn't speak to him and you didn't know him, you would say that he's an Asian. He can speak a whole lot of Mandarin, and he did spend a couple of years in China. So yeah, my bias with Chinese people would be
I'm listening.
noodles.
Heck.
Yeah, I don't know, ramen.
Oh,
Just
ramen.
food,
Okay.
strange food.
Strange food.
Dogs, cats. We all know that these are actually because of the struggles of the south, what was happening in the south of China. This is like historical things, people didn't actually have food, so they had to resort to eating cats and dogs, their pets. And this was all
really?
because of leadership that was happening. But I think it was under Mao Zedong. So yeah, like that bias still remains, Chinese people eat dogs,
They still do now.
No, like maybe in the south, where it's like really tough, But my experience when I was in China, man, it's a lovely place, It's a lovely place without the commies and all of that happening, but it's a lovely place, People are quite friendly and the food is actually surprisingly good. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
With other Africans outside of South Africa, you would expect them to have a spaza on the corner. You're gonna have some Niger guy. He's gonna have his own store, or some Somalian.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my bias.
Okay. So yeah,
Your side, bro?
my bias about Chinese people, I haven't really interacted with many Chinese people. We have like a shop called General Store here in PE. They seem very one-sided. Like they don't really want to like greet you with a smile or speak to you. I mean, they've been in our country for like a couple of years now.
No, more than a couple.
But yet, I'm sure they understand English, but they just act like they don't understand English. Because I tried having a conversation with one of them there. She's not very receptive, to be honest. But the guy that works there, that's like, I don't know if he's the son or I don't know where he is, what age group he is. But he speaks fluent English, and when I had a conversation with him, and it was chilled. So my bias about Chinese people is that they are very strict and very
one-sided.
Yeah, one-sided. You can say like they keep to themselves. Those that I've interacted with, I haven't interacted with a lot. So, and also like from the movies that we watch, kung fu things and stuff.
Karate.
Isn't karate
Kung fu.
Japanese?
Kung fu.
Isn't karate
Yeah,
Japanese?
it is Japanese. Yes.
Karate Kid.
Hey.
They really messed up and confused us all. But anyway, so Africans from other countries, Yeah, South Africa is like, we basically borderless at the moment. So we have foreigners coming in and out here in our country. Most of them undocumented, of course, but they are here, the ones that we've come across. They are here for jobs, not here for crime. But then there's the other half that is here for crime, of course. You see, so we can't really like say, okay, yeah, you here for crime, you here for crime. But my bias for them is that they are here to work. They're here to make opportunity for themselves. Unfortunately, we are aware that they are working at a lower wage than what our South Africans are willing to work for. Okay, and now they are setting up an imbalance in the workforce where they are willing to work for less than our South Africans, which makes the South Africans jobless. But then on the other end, are South Africans looking for job for themselves or making opportunities? So we can't keep pointing the finger at the African brother who is also trying to make a living for themselves. One, I can say, let's blame the government for not having better immigration laws, but also two, it should motivate South Africans in order to get the job for themselves.
True.
And then most people that we also see foreign Pakistanis, foreign Sri Lankans, Bangladeshi, Indian people as well, Ghanaians as well. Yes. So my bias about the Pakistanis and Indians, that they are, they're good at cutting hair. What else? Running shops as well. We don't know much about them because not many people interact with them on a daily basis, unless you're buying from them. But from my side, I think I'll probably do more to get to know them better.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nah.